I was hiding in the shadow of a boulder. My mind was running at full speed. The demon finished off the last of the flesh. Then it reached down and picked up that massive bone club and started walking toward the corner. That's when the Earth Dragon Mother moved. She let out the loudest roar of her entire life and hurled her massive body straight at the demon, but the demon just sneered. Right at the moment of impact, the demon sidestepped, slick as a monkey, then raised that bone club high above its head and brought it down with everything it had, straight onto the Earth Dragon's spine. Her spine snapped instantly. The Earth Dragon Mother crumpled to the ground like a pile of wet rags. She tried to get up, but her entire lower half had gone completely numb. All she could do was claw at the ground with her front legs, dragging her broken body, still trying to shield the kids. She let out a heartbreaking cry and turned her head to look at me. There was no pain in those eyes, only a plea. "Please, get them out of here!" My eyes went red in an instant. "Damn it!" I screamed inside. But right then, the demon seemed annoyed that the Earth Dragon was still fighting back. It lifted its foot and stomped down on the Earth Dragon's head, driving her skull straight into the dirt. Then it looked past her, straight at the 3 plump little Earth Dragons huddled behind her. It grinned, flashing a mouth full of yellow teeth, and reached out to grab the biggest one, the oldest brother. Big Bro was scared, but in that moment he didn't run. Instead, he awkwardly opened his mouth and bit down on the demon's finger. But that was like a fly trying to shake a tree. The demon barely flicked a finger, and Big Bro's head exploded like a watermelon. No scream, no struggle. The big goofy guy who always bumped into me like an idiot, but always saved the best meat for me. Just like that, he was a headless corpse. The world seemed to freeze in that moment. I just stared blankly at his fallen body, and at the second and third, both frozen in shock beside him. Then the demon's hand shot out and grabbed the second one short, sharp scream. The second one was crushed into a pulp. It was killing. It was enjoying it, like squishing bugs. No! A sound tore out of me. A roar, the kind only a dragon can make, young and raw but loaded with pure hate. I burst out from behind the rock. If I can't run, then I'm taking a chunk out of you. I charged like a maniac straight at that unbeatable demon god. I was moving at full tilt, speed honed from countless brushes with death. I didn't go for its body, too hard. Didn't go for the throat either. I knew I couldn't break through. My target was its eye. The demon clearly didn't expect it. That this nobody little red lizard would actually fight back and move this fast. By the time it reacted, I'd already scrambled up its arm and onto its shoulder. I opened my jaws and went straight for the demon's left eye. Didn't land it clean, but my fangs ripped right through its eyelid. Blood exploded out and blinded its left eye instantly. The pain made the demon let out an earth-shaking howl. It raged and swung its massive hand, slapping at its own shoulder like it was swatting a mosquito. I felt the shockwave coming, but mid-air there was nothing to push off of. That giant hand connected dead on. Like getting hit head-on by a speeding train, I felt every single organ in my body shift out of place. Bones shattering all over, I went flying. Slammed hard into the rock wall, bounced off and hit the ground, rolling several times before stopping. I coughed up a mouthful of blood mixed with chunks of my own organs. I couldn't get up, my spine felt broken. My back legs had gone completely numb. My vision was blurring. The world turned blood red. This is the gap in power. Just one slap. In the distance, the demon was clutching its bleeding eye. It wasn't in a rush to finish me off. It wanted to make this slow, to make the little thing that dared hurt it suffer. It picked up the bone club and walked toward me, step by step. But right then, the Earth Dragon Mother, the one who'd been stomped into the dirt with a broken spine, somehow found the strength to move again. She lifted her head, face soaked in blood, glanced at the 3 blurry piles of flesh in the distance. A flash of unbearable grief crossed her eyes, and then that grief turned into pure, iron-willed resolve. She opened her mouth, and a warm, earthy golden glow began swirling wildly inside it. That was her mana core. She was burning through her own mana core. The rocks around her started to shake. Spikes of earth shot up from beneath the demon's feet like a burst of bamboo breaking through soil. They couldn't pierce the demon's feet, but they stopped it in its tracks. The demon ape was pissed. It spun around and started smashing the Earth Dragon Mother like crazy with a bone club. 1, 2, 3. Every hit came with the crack of breaking bones and the dull thud of flesh tearing apart. The Earth Dragon Mother didn't fight back. She didn't even scream. She just planted her body in front of that corner, blocking the demon's path to me. Her life was draining away fast. Finally, the demon seemed to get tired, or figured the mangled mess in front of it was no longer a threat, and stopped. Breathing a little hard, it wiped the blood off its eye, standing there catching its breath. That insane burst of attacks plus the eye wound, even it needed a moment to recover. Using that gap, the Earth Dragon Mother painfully turned her head to look nearby, collapsed on the ground, half her skull already caved in. That familiar mental pulse hit my mind again. The Earth Dragon Mother asked, "Kid, are they okay?" She meant the 3 little Earth Dragons, the ones who'd already been turned to pulp. She'd been pinned under that foot. She never saw it. Or maybe she refused to believe it. In that moment, my heart seized up hard. In this brutal world, this was the last bit of tenderness left. I stared at the scattered pieces of flesh on the ground. Choking back the knot in my throat, I sent back a mental reply. "They're fine. They just passed out. When you wake up, they'll wake up too." That was the worst lie I've ever told in my life. But the Earth Dragon Mother chose to believe it. Good. Her presence was fading fast. That mental pulse began to feel distant and hollow. "Kid, I always knew you weren't from here. You're different from us. But I always thought of you as my own." I was sobbing too hard to make a sound. "Don't cry. Down here crying attracts death." The Earth Dragon Mother's voice suddenly went serious. That final clarity of someone burning their last light. "Listen, kid, I'm done. My body holds the power of the earth. Eat me." I froze. I thought I'd misheard. "Eat me?" That mental pulse suddenly surged, overwhelming, with a tone that left no room for argument. "This is the last nutrients I can give. Don't waste a single bit. If you don't eat me, that monkey's gonna eat you instead. Better it goes to you than to him. Take my flesh. Take your brothers and survive." That voice cut off the moment the last 3 words fell. The light in the Earth Dragon Mother's eye went out. Completely. A dead silence smothered the cave once more. I just stared blankly at the body. Eat mother. Even if she was just an adoptive mother. Even across species. But that month, every single day and night, every warm mouthful of milk she gave me. Every time she put herself between me and danger. She was the only home I had in this cold, brutal world, and now I have to eat her. I suddenly started laughing. Is this the dragon's curse? Is this the law of the dungeon? Eat or die. In the distance, the demon had already caught its breath. It swung the bone club and turned around with a twisted grin, ready to come collect this last little thing. I stopped laughing, lifted my head and looked at the demon. No emotion left in my eyes. None. Mom, you're right. Wasting food is shameful. I pushed through the pain, inching my way toward the Earth Dragon Mother's body, opened my mouth like fangs still stained with the demon's blood. If this cursed world won't let us live, then I'll swallow the grief, swallow the mercy, swallow the weakness. And then I'll chew you, you mongrel monkey, bones and all, and swallow that too. I sank my teeth into the Earth Dragon Mother's broken body. Flesh and blood hit my tongue. A raw, overwhelming surge of power, soaked in the thick breath of the earth, detonated inside me. Evolution had begun, and in the distance, the fisher demon ape had no intention of cutting the show short. In its twisted mind, watching prey turn on each other, cannibalism, was the ultimate pleasure. It even reached down with amusement and scooped up a chunk of one of the little earth dragons, popped it in its mouth like a snack, smacking its lips like it was doing a taste review. Eyes locked on me with a smirk, it said, "Not bad. Eat up! Get nice and fat so I can eat you next." That sight made the flame in my eyes snap out, replaced by a pitch-black darkness. Bottomless rage and the raw power erupting from my gut mixed together, and blew straight through what was left of my sanity. Earth dragons are earth-type beasts. Their flesh is loaded with dense, ancient earth energy. And I'm a candle dragon, fire and time. But earth meeting fire didn't clash. Instead, it was like a thick layer of rock being pressed down on top of a volcano about to blow. More pressure, bigger explosion. I suddenly stopped eating and let out a gut-wrenching shriek. I felt every blood vessel in my body stretching and tearing. Then the dark red scales covering my body began to change into something born from earth power and dragon fire fused together, lava bone armor. My body was expanding at a visible rate, 1 meter, 2, 3. In this moment, I was no longer a true dragon. I was something that crawled out of hell itself. Born for vengeance, a freak of nature.